Andrew McCart, iFLTV. You already know I'm always delighted to be joined by Mr. Dave Coldwell on this Sunday evening. Dave, how are you, sir?
I'm all right, thanks, mate. Not too bad at all. Sun's out. Looks like it's getting into spring. We're into March now, so hopefully all the shitty weather's gone.
Well, I live in Scotland, so I think we have summer, which is one day in June at some time. I mean, we don't have much, so there's shitty weather all the time up here. Yeah, let's just dive straight into it then, Dave. Last night, Lewis Crocker versus Paddy Donovan. I was looking forward to the fight. It was that fight, all Irish clash. I was hoping for one of them barnstormer of a fights, but I think that we got something different to talk about. But it was one of the fights that I knew I was going to wake up on Sunday and be like, right, who can I interview? Because it's going to be a cracker. But it seems like I didn't expect what happened last night and to talk about what happened last night. I just want to get your summary of the fight itself and then we'll break it down.
Um, I like you. I think I was looking forward to this fight for quite a while. As soon as it was made, I thought, "Oh,
Mm.
this is going to be tasty." Um, in Ireland as well, in Belfast as well, the crowd, the Irish fans are just incredible. I've been fortunate to have sampled that sort of atmosphere before in person. Watching this on TV, the atmosphere just came straight through the TV.
Mm.
Um, I thought everything about this fight had ingredients to be a great fight, and to be honest, it surprised me how one sided it was.
Mm.
Um, you know, Crocker comes out with his hands up, just walking forward, walking forward. I thought, okay, he's trying to, get into the range and bully and put the pressure on Donovan straight away. But I thought Donovan just handled it really, really well. Crocker didn't really do what I thought it was going to do. I thought he'd have been slinging shots downstairs. I understand he wouldn't want to open up too early and too wide because Paddy's a very good counterpuncher, sharpshooter as well. But I just didn't feel as though he didn't really get any work off, even though he was in that range early doors. And Paddy just got into a rhythm. He was very, very intelligent. wasn't loading up on shots, just popping and peppering away. Um, and when you start seeing the heads bumping and nudging, um, a lot of it's one of that where they say, what is it, six of one, half a dozen the other,
Mm.
where Crocker is leaning over all the time coming in. And when Paddy's just popping his shots in, as his momentum's coming in, he's just bringing his face in and out of range. And to just be nudging like that. So I didn't think it was, there was, there was some where you'd think, oh, maybe a little bit, it's coming in a little bit too sharp. But in the main, I just thought it was the posture of both fighters caused a lot of head clashes. Sometimes you're going to get that. We always talk about Southpaw versus Orthodox head clashes.
Mm.
Um, but there were a couple of points where with Donovan's style, it nudged with the elbow, which is a little bit naughty. Um, in a fight like that, the couple of points that were taken off, fair enough. But the fact there was never any warnings towards Crocker for what he was doing, how he was coming in, leaning over. I thought it was just all one sided towards Donovan. Throughout all that, I thought Donovan boxed brilliant.
Mm.
On a boxing perspective, I thought he was outstanding. Um, and he kind of nullified Crocker's work. Crocker didn't do the work that I expected. And I think Crocker, he was feeling the punches. He was feeling the shots. I think the cuts were called as from punches, not head clashes. So Donovan was putting a lot of damage on there, and then when it started to get a little bit rowdy and Crocker started landing a few shots, Donovan took the shots really well. Um, and then obviously you get the knockdown, the first knockdown, and I was like, wow. And Crocker comes back firing, and the ending for me, it's not black and white to be honest. I thought it was harsh watching it. I was a little bit behind, about 20 minutes behind, so watching it as live. Um, I thought it was harsh, um, I thought Crocker was on the way out. Without a doubt, it was on the way out. And it was one of those where, where the atmosphere, unless you've been in that situation, the atmosphere is absolutely electric. Crowds roaring, they're sensing a stoppage. Donovan's unloading. Crocker at this point is swinging from rooftops, real wild, catches Donovan, takes a stumble back, goes. And when you've got that, he's a young kid as well. When you've got that emotion, you're going for a kill, you get tagged back and probably felt as well, then you're firing back. I kind of thought, and sometimes when you let go of a firing a whipping combination, the last shot was definitely after the bell, no question about that. But it's very hard to stop yourself when you're in that rotation of firing. And I thought it was, yes, it was late. And originally, I thought, could have given him take another point. This people think there's 3 points off and a disqualification. It's not. It's at the referee's discretion. I thought maybe take another point off, and give Crocker time. Like when you get it with the low blow, you get 5 minutes. Maybe give Crocker time to see he recovers from the shot and if he can carry on. Joe, on Twitter, I said that I felt as though it was a little bit harsh, and it's just an opinion. And then John Pegg actually tweeted to, and he his point of view was he was playing devil's advocate. He says, look, from a board perspective, imagine from a referee looking out for the fighter, imagine if you gave Crocker extra time to get over it, and then something had happened. He gets up and he's actually, he goes back and then he gets hurt. If he'd have given him the extra time to get through that, then does that leave you open to getting sued or then have you caused that by allowing the fight to go on when really he didn't it wasn't going to make the count. It should have just been stopped or a disqualification as it was. So then I thought, well, do you know what? It's not a black and white sort of thing. We've seen so many times in fights where a fighter has hit a fighter after the bell, a second after the bell, like not a second, but like a split second after the bell, and it carries on. People say, he's not going to recover in 5 minutes. Well, how does somebody get up after getting knocked down within you got to get up on 8, within the mandatory count, and then carry on and then end up winning the fight? But you can recover from getting a knockdown, but in the circumstances, the referee's got to make a decision just there and then. And although I thought at the time it was harsh, I understand where John Pegg was saying that you got to look at it from all angles, and sometimes that's when you're in a flashpoint, you'll say something, you'll have an opinion on something. But if you've got a level head on you, you can take other people's opinion and kind of go, yeah, I can see that. For me, if I'm Paddy Donovan, I'm absolutely distraught and gutted. But also, it's a lesson to be learned. We've seen where a lot of young fighters, as the fighters are and until it's difficult. It's difficult to say because you are in that moment and it's emotions and when you're in a tear up or an exchange, like I said, sometimes it's hard to pull that final punch. But if you're Crocker and you're Billy Nelson, you're screaming for a disqualification. I'd be doing the same. I'd have been doing the same thing. You're out for your man. You're out for whatever's best for your man. For Andy Lee, it's harsh, and Mammon was about to win the fight, and it was a brilliant performance. For Billy Nelson, it's like, no, mate, you've just knocked my man out after the bell. So you're gonna take each.
Yeah, well, again, before I pushed record, I was telling you how I was a wee bit distracted from somebody messaging me on social media there. Now, I said that Marcus McDonnell, he should have been a little bit closer to the action when that 10-second back went, because if there was a video and somebody showed it from almost like a bird's eye or up in the stand somewhere, and he was like 8 to 10 feet away from the action.
Yeah.
Now, in a fight like that, with 10 seconds to go, when they're teeing off on each other and the fighter's against the ropes, right? The knockdown and all this sort of stuff. Marcus McDonnell, I feel, should have been poised
100%.
thereabouts, and as soon as that ding 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 went, he should have put his body in amongst, like you've seen referees do that when the
100%, 100%. And you're right. You're 100% right. It's common sense.
Mhm.
Also, it's not like it's a tactical battle where one man's moving around. Like you said, they were in an exchange, a heated exchange there, and they were slinging the shots in, both of them. So you should be there.
Mm.
And also, we've seen where other referees, where they'll be close to action, and they'll hear the klaxon, and they'll lean in, and they'll say, stop at the bell, guys, just to make you aware.
Mhm.
I've seen where people say that Crocker dropped his hands because he heard the bell. No, he didn't. When you look at his hands there when he gets hit, and it's the shot that takes his hand away as he's on his way down. Maybe they both didn't hear the bell. I'm not saying they did. At first, again, as you have time to process. At first, when I saw the slow-mo and I saw Donovan hit him, and then as he drops, walks off, I thought, he did hear the bell. But then I just thought, well, hang on a minute. No, he's just dropped him. He's walked off, because that's what you do. So you do that on both things. You hear the bell, you stop, you go.
Mm-hmm.
You drop somebody, you stop, you go. So it's the same thing. So even on that, I have a thought in my head. I think, oh, he did hear the bell. And then I think, well, actually, no, he might have just been walking away because he's just dropped him and he knew he was on the way down. So he's on the way down. You do stop boxing, you do turn around. Only those two guys will know if they heard the bell or not. But Crocker didn't drop his hands as if to say, I've heard, the bell's gone, stop boxing. When you do see fighters where they hear the bell, they kind of like drop the guard and then they get hit. There was none of that.
Mm-hmm.
So like you say, that's where, when it's a noisy atmosphere and when it's like that, it's difficult to hear the bell. Because sometimes we see exchanges where they're still going on at the bell, where they're both firing. This just so happens where one man was firing, the other man was in trouble. But yeah, the referee should have been closer. The referee should have dived in, been in a spot to dive in, or even like we hear other referees where they actually shout at the fighters and say, 10 seconds, stop at the bell, So yeah, but a lot of controversy and taking away that one shot and the ending, it shouldn't take away the performance of Donovan and the one-sided nature of that fight. In a fight that you're going into where it was split, it was 50-50, where Paddy is a young gun coming through. That was a sensational performance. It was one-sided. I think I'd probably give Crocker a round. I thought Paddy was very, very, and it wasn't like what we expect him being slick and sharp on outside and moving and giving. He was stood right in front of him. He was stood right in front of him and nullified and picked and picked and picked and whipped and picked, and it was brilliant. Yes, there was a bit of, like I said, there was a bit of head bumping going on, but we've seen far worse. Yeah, it was a great performance from Donovan.
Do you agree with Paddy that the referee has ruined his dreams in the referee's performance last night and what he done? Do you believe in what? Do you understand?
It give him if he feels that way, he's going to feel that way. But what I'm saying is, I understand that he feels that way, but he's also got to look himself in the mirror and say he gave him a reason. He gave him a reason. If he doesn't, if he doesn't throw that shot after the bell, it doesn't happen. Like I said, I think it was a bit hard to on all night on the head clashes because Crocker never got spoke to about that. Never got spoke to about that. And like I said, they're both, it's the styles. Maybe speak to them both and say, listen, your heads are coming in. You need to sort this out. But I didn't feel as though he did that. But when he's saying, he did that decision from the referee, it doesn't mean he's not going to go on to, onto bigger and better things, because he performed fantastic. He just needs to maybe, when you get 2 points taken off by the ref for doing a certain thing, if he's saying, regardless if you are or not, and if you feel as though it's coming the other way as well, maybe just give yourself that distance, especially when you're a boxer of the caliber of Donovan. Maybe then, instead of standing right in front of him, maybe just sit back a little bit more and use your range a little bit more, so that takes away that, where you're coming in with your head a little bit. But he didn't adjust. He just carried on doing the same thing. It's like if you get a couple of points taken off you because you keep throwing a left hook downstairs, it's hitting on the below the belt, and you keep throwing it. Your coach is going to say, listen, stop throwing that shot. Your time is not on it. You're not getting off. Stop throwing that shot, because you're going to get disqualified. 2 points. But at the same time, is the way that I see it. And again, it's only my opinion. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying it's how it should be. But if you get 2 points taken off because it's the head, then that shouldn't be in the ref's head for an automatic disqualification. Just if he does something else. It's just, he waves it off straight away. He didn't know how bad Crocker was hurt or anything from that. Like I said, we have seen fighters where they've been hit after the bell, they've been hit where somebody's on the floor, and they give them time and to see how they are. They just assess it. Do you know what I mean? So maybe that could have been done. But
I think we've seen dust ups, all British dust ups, all Irish dust ups, like this one, Calfroch and Groves, the controversy with the first fight. We've had that mega rematch. Josh Taylor Catrall, the controversy of that first fight. We got the rematch in a huge rematch. Immediate rematch for you in this one. Go straight back to it.
I think they should, but if you're Crocker and that was eliminated for a world title,
IBF, yeah.
It can kind of just sit there now and just wait. Why he got absolutely taken apart in that fight. Let's not. I thought that was a real genuine 50-50. I really did, and I thought it'd been a lot closer. I thought the fight itself would have been a lot closer. And when you went on a DQ, when you've like I said, probably won one round out of the whole fight, you can't celebrate that victory, because you only won because you was about to get stopped, and you only won because the kid fucked up. Your opponent messed up by throwing a shot after the bell and got DQ'd. You only won because of his mistake. You was about to get beat and get stopped comprehensively. So you can't take that as a win. Oh yeah, I won. Celebrate. I don't think you can do that. But you don't always have to take the rematch. Canelo had a draw early on in his career, never took the rematch. Look at his career, he had never hurt him. Once he went on and did it. How old's Crocker? Maybe don't fancy. Maybe if he's got himself in this position, he's thinking, I don't need that. Or Billy Nelson's telling him, you don't need that. No matter what all the fans think, he'll do what's best for his career. However, if a big steaming pile of money is placed under his nose, the scent of that is going to make him take the fight. So
very true.
And also, how many will that sell in Ireland next time?
Exactly, probably a bit. You need to find a bigger arena or even a stadium. Yeah. Maybe that could probably do Windsor Park. Probably 20 odd thousand. Maybe, we don't know. I do want to jump across the pond because, again, I'm sure you've seen Tank Davis and Lamont Roach. That fight was. I watched it. It was a cracking fight. And in another mad scenario that I've not seen in boxing is Tank taking a knee, walking over to his corner to get wiped down. I'm pretty sure the corner interference between rounds is a disqualification in itself. And then Steve Willis was ready to start the count. He was like that one, stopped it, took Tank to the side and was like, right, what's happening here? It's like, what is happening here? Do the count.
He took a knee. It's a knockdown. He took a knee. You can't do that. Do you know what that was? Do you know what that screamed to me? And also, like when you see Tank when he keeps, moaning at the referee if if anything happens, he's like a spoilt kid. I can do what I want,
Mm.
and yeah, I was baffled by that. That's a knockdown. That is a knockdown. Roach, I thought Roach did fantastic. KG early doors, and then when they were both in the exchanges, down the stretch, he was right there with Tank. A good, like you say, a good fight, but strange that Tank got away with that one. And you look at Tank, you look at Shakur within a couple of weeks of each other, a week of each other, the fought, and really, neither of them have come out where
Mm.
you're heaping loads of praise on them, a spectacular performance or anything like that. And it's like, if they keep talking about that fight, get the fight made because people lose interest. If the fights don't get made, people lose interest because you've got to think about where your stock is. And when Tank's talking about 1 minute he wants to retire and this and that and all that, he's very up and down. I think people get bored pretty quickly, especially with you look at the performance that they put in last fight.
Obviously, Tank came out in the press conference and said that he's halting his retirement now because he's got 4 fights left. He said in the post-fight press conference, he said that he's not going to be talking about retirement because he's putting that on hold after that performance. And the excuse he gave for the knee was grease from his hair got into his eye. I mean, I've never heard that before. Well, exactly. I'm in the same boat as you. We
Tank,
don't have that
Tank, if you're
problem.
watching, mate, get your hair taken off. You'll never ever get grease coming out of your hair and going into your eyes. Not a problem, mate.
Spoken with experience there, Dave. But I guarantee you, what was your hair like when you were a kid? You weren't always bald. Surely you had something going on, did you?
No, I wasn't always bald. No, I had when I was a kid, I had long hair. My mum didn't let me cut my hair, so I had long hair, and then she used to do it. And then when I was fighting, I had just normal hair, just shit. I prefer myself with bald head. So I'm quite, when you get called baldy and stuff, I'm like, yeah, good, I like it.
I'm the
I like
same. I am the same.
I've been offered, these where you can have your hair transplants and shit
Yeah.
like that. How many people have offered me to do it? We'll just all we want is Instagram. You don't even have to pay. Come on. I'm like, no thanks, mate. I don't want hair. So I genuinely don't want hair. I genuinely wouldn't have hair. So yeah, I'm
Listen,
quite
I
happy.
agree. I agree with you. I wake up in the morning. I don't have to worry about brushing it, washing it. I just get up, brush my teeth, wash my face, and I'm out the door. I don't have to
It's
do anything.
this bit that's the ball ache
Yeah,
is
that's
main
it.
thing is the beard. That's it. That's
No.
that's that's the
But
ball ache.
you've got a nice fade. I can see it's faded in nicely. You've obviously been at the barbers this week. Or did you do it yourself?
Do it myself.
Yeah.
What? These people that pay for to get the beards trimmed and stuff. I'm like, why? Just do it yourself.
You're quite, I tell you what, you're quite good at it. Maybe you should start a wee side business.
Like-
Bold cuts, call it. Anyway, Dave, listen, it's been absolutely fantastic speaking to you again. Um, Obviously, this weekend's been crazy with the 2 fights out in Brooklyn and Belfast with the knee, the DQ, and all that sort of stuff. But that's why we love Boxing Day because it always has a storyline and gives us something to talk about, man. That's why we love the sport, right?
100%, mate. 100%. And I'm in Brighton next week if you're in Brighton because I've got Dan Toward
Yeah.
boxing on Channel 5 on a Wasserman show. All Newbank's top at bill. But Dan Toward, trust me, £154. There isn't a better prospect in the UK. The kid's shit up.
I'll tell you what. I was at his debut in Bolton. He had a fight in Bolton again, and then the one in Newcastle. Was that right? I've been to
Yeah.
3 or 4 of his fights, and the last fight he had in Newcastle, wow. I
He's
mean,
getting he's getting better. Honestly, every week he's getting better. The kid is a baby. He's 22 years old as well.
mm,
He's something. Honestly, got plenty of characters. He's a bit of a showman in the ring, but he's very spiteful and he's brilliant, mate. Potential is unbelievable. Really is.
definitely one to watch. And you've got a young stable, and we spoke about this before in 2025, but it's going to be exciting. But Dan Toward, Channel 5 next weekend in Brighton. Watch him because, like I say, I can vouch for that day because he's a very, very good fighter. But as always, your Sunday evening. You've spent it with me, so I apologise, Dave. But until the next time, thanks again. I'll see you soon.
See you later, mate. Cheers.
Thanks, Dave. Thank you.